welcome back to Animation Pilgrimage, where Sean and I take a look at every single theatrically released animated film in chronological order. I'm Tennille.
And I'm Sean.
Today we are looking at the USSR 1970s film, The Bluebird.
We had said last episode we were going to look at a different film, but turns out we have to buy that one, and so it's going to have to take a little bit longer before we get that one. But we'll come back to it at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So we're doing this one instead.
And it is our last 1970s film as well, correct?
Indeed.
Other than the film we had to skip over. But yeah, and this is a pretty good way to end off the year.
I would agree.
It's been a little while since we've seen a Russian film that we didn't have to go back and watch or anything like that. But generally I would have to say I liked this. I didn't love it, but I liked it. It was fine.
It's very simple.
Yeah. Very simple.
Very simple concepts being introduced in this film. But with that being said, I really enjoyed it.
You want to talk about the plot?
Sure. Real simple plot here, folks. So, we have a boy. He's wandering around in the city. And he picks up a coin that is dropped by a random rich guy. And then he wants to buy a bird, because he likes birds. But then he sees a dog steal some food from a vendor, and the vendor starts beating the crap out of the dog. He's like, no, here, take this money to cover the cost of whatever he stole from you. And the vendor's like, fine. And so he's befriended the dog. And then this random lady comes up and says, you have shown kindness. Here, you can have the blue bird.
Yes.
So now he got a bird for being kind, and then she like poofs and floats away or whatever.
Right.
So it's like, cool, mystery lady gives him a magical bird, probably. Either way, he goes home, and he goes to sleep after a short conversation.
With his parents, he and his sister go to sleep.
His mother and sister. I don't think we ever see his father.
Right.
But he goes to sleep, and then him and his sister wake up to find that the lamp is still on. And now we enter the
dream zone.
I mean, the animated zone.
Yeah.
Because everything becomes animated and looks really cool.
Yeah.
Honestly.
If the visuals have not inspired anything in you up to this point, don't worry. That's not what the whole film looks like. It's
papercraft at the beginning, but then it turns into this
which is
amazing,
really cool.
Like sharp contrast shadows design on pretty much everyone. There is like a few other characters that look a little bit different, but like overall, I really like this art style that they go with.
And the character design especially is what gets me. I really like this high contrast, simple animation with these very appealing character designs.
Oh yeah, like the little boy and little girl, they look great.
Well, and the other characters too. Like they all have very distinct shapes, ways of moving. Like there's just some great character animation in here.
Either way, they take the lamp and they go up into the attic because the brother wants to show the blue bird to his sister. But up there, they actually meet his grandparents.
Who passed away. So he's like meeting their ghosts, and they're like, oh, you've grown up so much, you'll look great. And the little girl can't see them because she wasn't around when they were alive. She doesn't remember them. And
she doesn't remember.
The little boy's remembering them, which is why they're there. It's kind of a weird little side story, but okay.
But they're the ones that tell him, it's like, oh, you have the blue bird? Well, you should let the blue bird be free and fly across all the land and give
happiness to everyone.
In case you haven't figured it, the blue bird is essentially an allegory for peace or hope or happiness. Not really sure exactly what it is, but it's some form of ultimate good.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you know it, there is also a cat who steals the blue bird and runs away. And they're like, well, crap, we need to get the blue bird back. Because that's not okay.
Yeah.
So they go back outside.
Oh no, we just learned that the blue bird is the key to happiness.
Whoops,
no, now we lost it.
So they go outside, and with the help of their dog, who is now also cartoon dog, they chase after this cat who stole it for a while, and then they lose him. But then they run across this insane design of a guy. I love this guy's design. He doesn't have arms. He just has hands.
Yeah.
And like an imposing body and stuff. And this is the rich man that dropped the coin earlier, and he's like, I want my money back.
Yeah.
And so they give him the money. He's like, thank you. Also, I'll take care of you, and we'll go find the blue bird together. And they jump inside his magic car that is controlled by an extra set of hands. It's a lot of allegory stuff here.
Yeah.
The rich man controls all the things with all of his hands.
All his money.
So they go looking for the bluebird, and then we find the world just floating there. And there's a shadow of the rich man on there, which he calls...
Okay, I want to say that this is a very simple story. Like, yes, we're elaborating on the details that go on in this plot. It's a very simple story. A boy and a girl go find the bluebird that they lost, and the bluebird represents happiness. But, like, it's told in a very bizarro kind of way.
They find the earth there, and there's the shadow of the rich man, which he calls war. And he wants to feed the bluebird to war, to envelop the whole earth in war. And so obviously the main character's like, that's not okay. And the rich man's like, don't worry about it. I need that bluebird. So they run away from him at his table, and they go underneath it and end up in a mine shaft where it's the working class people of Russia, so they're automatically good people. And they're like, here, have some bread. And they're like, oh, thank you, this is the best bread we have ever had.
Yeah.
They move on, continuing to look for the bluebird, and they're revisited by the magic spirit lady that gave the bird in the first place. And she's like, here, have these 3 guardians that will help you on your quest, that have always been there to help man. Fire, water, and bread. So we get this fire idol man, a column of water man, and lumpy Pillsbury doughboy.
Okay, I did not understand he was supposed to be bread. I think he's supposed to be bread.
He's absolutely bread.
I thought he was supposed to be earth. Like, I thought she was just giving him elemental buddies. So he's like some kind of clay man.
No, he's absolutely bread.
But he's bread.
Because it's the exact same shape and size of the piece of bread they were handed from the mine.
Yeah.
So it's the bread that they were just eating.
You're right. It's weird.
Oh yeah, I love the 3 basic elements of the earth. Fire, water, bread. They're great. Fire. Water, whoosh. Bread.
Poof, poof, poof.
Puff, 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 puff. How does one bread bend? Either way, they go sneaking into the place where the cat is going to sell the bluebird to the rich man. And it is brought by this fancy lady who actually showed up in this like papercraft area, and she stepped on a fake bluebird airplane origami thing the kid made. So she's obviously not a good character either. And so they go to there's all this weird conversation that goes on, but the good guys get found out, and then there's the fight to get the blue bird back, and they go chasing after all of them, and the elementals go after each person individually. The fancy lady who did absolutely nothing in this movie except carry the birdcage gets burned alive, and she's dead.
Yep.
Okay. The cat gets drowned in a torrent of water that like floods an entire city.
Yeah.
And the rich man is chased down by the 2 main characters, the dog and Mr. Breadman. The Breadman, all he does is help carry the little girl up the stairs because she's getting tired.
Yeah.
But the boy, the main character, gets out on the balcony where the rich man is trying to escape them at the top of this tower. They wrestle over the bluebird for a bit, and then the bluebird is dropped from the rich man's hands. And the boy falls holding the bluebird, and then he
frees it.
Nope.
Oh.
He just wakes up.
Oh. Yeah.
Because it was all a dream.
Yeah.
So he wakes.
I mean, of course it was.
So we're back to Paper Cut Boy, and he goes upstairs where he hid the bluebird and opens it up, and then he releases the bluebird, and it flies across the earth, filling it with hope, joy, happiness, ambiguous good.
Yeah.
The end.
The end.
And that's the plot.
Yeah.
So
Also, we should mention the version of this movie we watched.
yes, that's very important. Because when we were looking up this movie, we found two versions of it.
Yeah.
One of them was like a cropped version that had the original audio that was, like, the version that we watched was obviously recorded from some time it played on Russian television and was cropped and stuff. But the version we watched, we actually found on Vimeo, and it was a reorchestrated version that, according to the description there, was something, the audio was more in line with what the original creator would have wished for the project.
Yeah.
And this version also had the entire screen available. It wasn't cropped at all. And that's the version we decided to watch.
Another thing that's important is that this is all score. At least, like, from what we could tell in the reorchestrated version we listened to.
Yeah, at least in the reorchestrated
But, like,
version.
there's no lip sync for dialogue.
Well, that's the funny thing, is like a lot of characters move their mouths as though they are lip syncing, which makes me wonder if in the original version there was actual dialogue which the creator wasn't happy with. Did you find anything like that? Okay. But that's what it seems like. But in this version, there's none of that. There's just subtitles. But that's okay, because most of the movie is not told through words anyways.
Yeah.
You get most of the storytelling just from the visuals. And I gotta say, the reorchestration was done by something funk.
Yeah.
And mwah! This was a
good soundtrack.
It was a good soundtrack. This is honestly the kind of music I could just sit and listen to
in the background all day.
Like in my own time.
Yeah.
This is the kind of music I like. No words, just random scat stuff, jazz stuff, weird instrumental things.
It worked.
Gorgeous, beautiful, worked very well for this film.
Yeah.
I loved it a lot.
As far as history on this film, this was another film made by Soyuzov Multfilm. I can barely say it because it's a Russian word and I don't speak Russian. Soyuz Multfilm, which we've seen a lot of films from.
Okay.
And this is based on a play, The Bluebird.
A play?
What? I know,
From Russia?
right?
Who could have seen that coming?
Well, it's actually a play from Belgium.
Okay, but like based on a play made in Russia.
Yeah.
They do that a lot.
They do base a lot of their stories off of plays.
Which is not a bad thing.
Interesting fact, if some of you have maybe seen a movie called The Bluebird before, maybe even the Shirley Temple version, it's based off of the same play.
Yeah, that's an important thing to note. You have to like search for the year of this one, otherwise you just get stuck with the Shirley Temple version of The Bluebird.
There's been a lot of adaptations of The Bluebird.
Really?
Over time.
Okay.
The interesting thing is, I don't think any of them have actually adapted the play.
Correctly, or even
Like,
close? They take like basic concepts.
Like, okay, here's the plot synopsis of the Shirley Temple version. Shirley Temple's character is a brat who doesn't want to share this bird that she found with this sick girl.
Okay.
She has a dream. Her dad's gonna get drafted into the war. She has a dream where her brother, her dog, and her cat go on a Wizard of Oz-esque journey through a magical place to find the bluebird. They find it. Shirley Temple is so overcome with emotions of gratitude about her life and how good she has it, and she has a complete change of heart through the course of the movie, that at the end, her dad doesn't end up getting drafted because of reasons, and she shares the bluebird with the sick girl. The end.
Okay, so it's honestly relatively simple, but with some obvious like plot changes.
Yeah. And, like, as far as what I could tell from the play actually focuses more... Like, both of these stories are way off from the play. But the play focuses more on there being a boy and his sister who see someone who is jealous and envious of the rich, and who's like, it's not fair that the rich get to have everything. And then the children are like...
Same.
No, and then the children are like, you should be happy with what you have. And then it's a whole play about being content about where you are in life, with your lot in life. The end.
You know, as I grow older, I am less and less okay with these kinds of stories.
I know.
You know?
And
because they just feel like very manipulative, made by the rich to make the masses feel okay with having nothing.
Right. Well, and then I think, essentially...
Oh my god, is that why we always get those plots? Because the rich are in charge and they're like,
of course!
I love this plot, keep doing it.
Of course, that's why we keep getting these.
Oh god! I'm sorry, I'm having a realization about my world, about the world right now, and I'm not happy with it.
Of course, Sean! Of course, that's why we always get this message.
Eat the rich.
Eat the rich! Eat the rich! Anyway, the end
Bringing
message...
that up 2 movies in a row.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Anyway, the main, like, moral of the story is that, like... Or not moral of the story, but, like, the ending is that the poor people end up sharing the bluebird as a way to be, like, to symbolize, like, you should be content with your lot in life. Like, here's your happiness. So it's just, like, again, that message of, like, oh, don't envy the rich. You shouldn't count on them to, you know, be decent people and not hoard all the wealth. The poor should just help the poor out and you'll all be okay.
Okay.
So, I say that this play is probably not adapted for the simple reason that the bluebird in and of itself as a symbol is so vague that you can use it to mean absolutely anything you want, which is why this film has a very, like, Russia propaganda-y feel.
I mean, it's Russia. And
whereas, you know, like the Shirley Temple one I was talking about has a very capitalist propaganda-y feel.
Yeah.
I mean, this Russian one even adds the whole, like, capitalist evil lady in there for no reason.
Yeah, because she's, like, supposed to be wearing the top fashion of the day, I can only assume. Because she's bedazzled. She's bedazzled head to foot. She's got, like, the flayed flared. She got the flared pants that are cool in the 70s.
Yeah.
Like, she is cool.
So it's just
she is groovy.
It's just really interesting to see a play from Belgium that's about being, like, sharing happiness be turned into something, like, from 2 completely different mindsets into something about how people should just be okay, like, okay with all of the, like, their lot in life, and, like, don't think about the bad things, just make people happy.
Okay.
It's interesting. But, for the record, I did like this movie.
Same.
So long as we're talking about the animated parts.
Yes.
I really could care less about the cutout animation parts.
Yeah, I feel like it aged. That part has aged.
It's just like, it's creative and I understand what it's going for, but it's just kind of like, you know, when you're just cutting out literal photographs of your actors, like, why not just film it? Why not it just be a filmed sequence in the opening?
Make it artsy.
And then switch to animation when you get to the dream world, because, like, the cutout portions are very
jarring,
boring to watch.
Yes, that's a good term for it. Okay, well, Either way,
Yeah.
I think that's going to be it for this episode of Animation Pilgrimage. So, join us back here next time as we start into 1971 and we watch Attack Number 1.
Again! What's the subtitle?
Hold on, I just had it.
You lose your train of thought.
Swooping crane. Falling bird.
I don't remember.
Wilting pigeon.
The bluebird.
The bluebird! It's something about a bird, and it's the final Attack Number 1 movie. So
all of you could stop commenting, why are you uploading the same video?
It's been different every time, guys, okay? There's 4 of them, okay? Alright. See you guys next time.
Bye-bye.